Hi friends, and it's Boxing Day, the 26th of December. Well, it is here anyway, where I'm broadcasting from, and I ate too much. Oh my goodness, I can hardly move this morning. Thank you so much to Sue and Tom and the lovely friends for yesterday's Christmas celebration. For you might still be celebrating Christmas. You might be staggered all over a sofa after eating a big Christmas dinner somewhere in North America and trying to keep as warm as possible. Better just turn the sound off there. But anyway, Merry Christmas to those people that weren't around yesterday for our little live program. And I hope you're having a good Christmas day. For those people that aren't into Christmas, that's fine. And we'll be doing, as I am now, our usual program. Now, one thing I did go through yesterday, and you may not have seen, so I'll just very quickly do it again. These are the toy elephants that are being made from my old shirts that I used to wear, the old sort of floral shirts. I'm sitting here wearing a slightly floral shirt this morning. I do remember that particular shirt well. Here's one sort of ready to be made. So this is by Seeds of Change down there on Phrae. More about them as we go through the process of auctioning off these beautiful little toy elephants made from my old floral shirts, some 20 shirts. Got a few more photos of them here. There's one of the other people making them. I remember that shirt well. And that one as well. I think that'll be popular. And there's another one. So they're all being made from my old floral shirts. So in the next couple of weeks, we're going to figure out how to auction them off efficiently so that we can raise some good money for Seeds of Change and also find a way of making sure we get the toy elephants to you. More about that as we figure all that out. I'll have to get a big whiteboard out and draw some circles and some arrows. But it's a Boxing Day in many parts of the world today. A Boxing Day for me used to be the day of the start of the Sydney to Hobart yacht race. So good luck to all those sailors who head off at midday Australian time today, which has probably already happened. And I hope they have fair sailing as they head down to Hobart. I did the Melbourne to Hobart race one year. I won it over the line and on handicap with my boat and 13 crew back in 1998/1999. A very, very difficult year where they lost quite a few lives in the Sydney to Hobart yacht race. So good luck to the sailors today. Let's move on to our story with a nautical theme, and two more bodies of the HTMS Sukhothai crew found on Sunday. This reported by the nationality.com. And they say that two more bodies were found near the wreckage of the doomed HTMS Sukhothai and retrieved Sunday afternoon. The third paragraph says the new bodies were definitely those of the crew. They were wearing sailors' uniforms. But Thai PBS World has an update on that story saying that 3 more bodies were recovered, 11 still missing. And the Admiral, the spokesperson there, said that the recovery of the bodies leaves 11 crew still unaccounted for, adding that all the remains will be sent for DNA testing, which will take up to 4 days. Also, another story from Thai PBS World saying that Navy divers searched the sunken Sukhothai for missing crew, and a team of 53 Navy divers and medical personnel dove down to the vessel to find out whether any of the missing crews were trapped in the ship. So that particular search goes on. And finally, it says the sunken ship rests at a depth of about 40 metres off Bangsapan district of Prachuap Khiri Khan. The sea conditions remain rough and the currents are strong, which could pose problems for the divers. So the search continues there. It's now more than a week after that vessel went down. Very sad time for the family and friends, hoping for a miracle. The miracle probably not happening. And we hope that there will be a long and thorough investigation into exactly what happened, because it all just seems so implausible that a military vessel could have sunk in those conditions. You're watching TNT, and it's Boxing Day, and hope you're recovering. I'm suffering. Monday's TNT program, and with thanks to 5-Star Marine, a perfect day today again. I think Sean and his team have been very busy the last few days taking advantage of this spectacular weather, and I think he's booked all the way through till January. But get in contact with 5-Star Marine if you're heading to Phuket, and I'm sure you'll enjoy a great trip out to one of the beautiful islands. There's a link in the description. While you're there, subscribe to the channel as well. Let's go to our next story, and this is a follow-up to all that investigation to the Chinese businessman Tu Hao, and now the Thai wife and the business partner have also been arrested, and the Metropolitan Police have taken the Thai wife of the Chinese businessman Chainat Chainat, also known as Tu Hao, into custody yesterday, and another woman, Pat Charin, who's suspected of being Chainat's business partner, was also taken into custody. The third paragraph says the police apprehended Chainat's wife, who's a police officer, and his business partner after the Bangkok South Criminal Court issued warrants for their arrests. And down the bottom there, the two suspects being held at the Yan Nawa police station for questioning. That's down in the Saton area, which is where they found that original gambling den, party den, hidden behind a car wash, which set this whole investigation off, which has now become very, very big and very, very wide. That story goes on to say that the two suspects being held, I've already done that, 8 suspects have to date been held in police custody. The last paragraph I thought was interesting. Chainat is currently being held in the Central Corrections Institute for drug addicts. What, have they run out of accommodation for just general money launderers? Strange place to keep him. He's rumoured to have close connections with a former heavyweight figure in the ruling Palang Pracharat party. He reportedly donated about 3 million baht to the party. Wonder if the party's going to give it back now. Probably not. To our next story now. This is reported in The Nation. Phrae restaurant collapses under weight of partying diners from thenationthailand.com. As many as 18 people were injured when a wooden house on stilts that served as a restaurant collapsed under the weight of diners in Phrae's Muang district. That's the main city district. Phrae is up in sort of northern central Thailand. Police say the incident took place at 4:30 p.m. on Saturday. I should note that because it's that time of the year, and these are English publications, a lot of the English writers probably having a few days off, so the news cycle has got a little bit extended. And it said the police, members of an insurance company were having a party. Certainly hope they weren't insuring that restaurant. They'd land on the bottom floor. Oh, no problem here. Nothing, no problems. Building's fine. Let's see what it says. They said that at least 3 people have suffered bad fractures. And of course, the police are going to summon the restaurant owner for questioning. Here's some photos from nationthailand.com. Obviously, immediately after the incident. Looks like they fell a fair way, more than 2 or 3 meters. And it looks like that top floor was covered in that sort of fake grass, and they obviously couldn't see much of the quality of the floor underneath. Dinah Wani said she and her colleagues had gathered for a celebration. She said some 50 people were attending, and said the floor fell through when the group had gathered to take a photograph together. The restaurant owner said the floor collapsed because it could not take the weight of so many people, somewhat stating the bleeding obvious, and he would have warned them if he'd seen them earlier. I think that particular case will come down to whether he had warned people or if there was any signage that was obvious to people heading up to that top floor. And there should be some sort of limitation on the number of people standing there, or at least some warning. So I think that case will centre on that particular issue. That story from The Nation. Now, I should also mention that today is a very important day around Thailand and around the rim of the Indian Ocean, because today's the anniversary of the Indian Ocean Tsunami, or the Asian Tsunami, as some people call it. It's one of the worst natural disasters in our recorded history. Up to 250,000, they say 230 to 250,000 lives were lost on this day. and it centred just off an area of the North Sumatran coast in Indonesia, an area called Aceh, which got hit first and hit the hardest. And thousands of people there washed away, never to be seen again. And some half hour later, when that wave hit the Thai coast, there were, I think, up to 4,000 people whose lives were lost as well, including a grandson of the then King Bhumibol Adulyadej. So a day to remember back in 2004 on December the 26th. This is TNT, and a coincidental story today. This comes from nationthailand.com as well. Hundreds evacuated in Malaysia after king tides wash away their homes, noting that a king tide is a natural phenomenon when it's just a particularly high seasonal tide, and it usually ties in with the location of the moon and sometimes exacerbated by local conditions, which might see a swell coming in from a particular direction. And we had some of these in Phuket probably 5 or 6 months ago when we had some amazingly high tides, noting that these low-lying countries are going to suffer more of these as the sea levels continue to rise. And the story says that more than 100 houses in Sabah's east coast of Sandakan were damaged or destroyed. And it happened on Christmas Eve. The fourth paragraph down there saying the seawater began rising about 7 p.m. and continued until midnight, forcing residents to flee their homes with their valuables and personal documents. Where is Sandakan? Well, it's facing the northeastern coast of the island of Borneo. It's a city or a city area of about 200,000 residents, and there we can see a wider map that there being that coastline on that island of Borneo. Then you can see Malaysia, you've got Thailand up here. So that's where it is located in Southeast Asia. Moving on to our next story, and from the PattayaNews.com, Royal Thai Police orders officers to stop revealing nationality information of foreigners arrested to the media. So this is an interesting story. Will it affect the way that we do report these sort of stories? Let's see if we can find out. The order was issued last night, that was Christmas Eve. According to the police spokesperson, the order's after requests made by unidentified countries' ambassadors, might just have to buy a few apostrophes there, who felt reports of their citizens allegedly committing crimes hurt what they called the positive image of their respective countries. There's probably going to have to be a policy one way or another. You're either going to name the nationality or not. Don't think that they can have a situation where it's only for some countries. The order does not affect cases tried and convicted in a Thai court, only pre-trial arrests and processing. So it will be interesting to see if there is some change in the way that the media reports these stories and reports the nationality of some of these alleged criminals. Swedish tourist arrested for wandering on Pattaya beach with a loaded gun and crystal meth. Well, he's a Swedish tourist, so they haven't started the rule yet, have they? Anyway, let's go to what this person's been caught doing. And his name is Matthias Engstrom. He's 43 years old, and he's under suspicion that he may have been carrying a weapon. According to local media, this happened on December the 24th. He was walking along the South Pattaya beach in front of Soi 13/3 when the police found him. The man was carrying a suspicious green backpack. Well, anybody carrying a green backpack, I think, is going to be suspicious. Police found a sachet of crystal methamphetamine, and inside the green backpack, they were surprised to find a gold Colt Defender .380 pistol with 5 bullets and a box full of bullets discovered in the green backpack. There it is. It's a rather, it looks a bit more like a movie prop than a real gun, doesn't it? But there it is, a Colt. And he reportedly claimed he found the gun and the ammunition in a plastic box in front of an unnamed go-go bar, because go-go bars often have guns, apparently. And he just decided to keep it. The police then ran a drug test on him and reportedly detected an unarmed drug substance in his system. Eventually, the Swedish tourist was charged with possession of an unregistered firearm and ammunition, carrying a gun in public, and taking an illegal drug. So I think his holiday's been cut rather short, and I think his excuse sounds, well, slightly implausible to say the least. Bad news also for a KL restaurant. It's been shut for 14 days after video of a rat nibbling on fried chicken goes viral. I know you can't wait to see that video. It's coming up. Just put your breakfast or your lunch aside as we go to that. Let's check the story though. A restaurant in KL where a rat was filmed enjoying a lavish meal of fried chicken in a food display has been ordered to shut down. The health inspection team were sent to check on the premises, and it was dissatisfied with the hygiene levels. Wonder if they found some extra rats. And the last paragraph says that the video clip shows the rat munching on some fried chicken and it's gone viral. Well, of course it has. And here it is. This is video of the rat having a nice feast there. I think he struck gold with this one. And all that lovely stuff. Yeah, that's what they were eating, but this is what the rat's eating. I think the rat's having a better deal out of this particular situation. He's had enough and he's heading off. So we don't know what happened to the rat, except that he probably had a fine meal, and it looks like that restaurant's going to have to do some cleaning up, that restaurant in KL. And just finally, when will the PM go to the polls? Now, we've recently reported that there's a whole lot of political movement to and fro as they get ready for the next election, which will be held probably in the second quarter of next year. And this story has spoken to a few different people just trying to imagine or speculate when the Prime Minister might call the next election. And the second paragraph there says, with less than 100 days to go before the key date being the end of the Parliament, which needs to be on or before the 23rd of March next year, the Prime Minister's decision to carry on in politics, key opposition figures and political analysts expect him to dissolve the Parliament shortly before its 4-year term ends. So if you haven't got time to read that article, that's the basic tenet that they're saying, that they expect the Prime Minister to let this Parliament run. A lot more water to go under the bridge between now and the end of this Parliament, though. And with that, as a very noisy motorbike goes past, thank you for watching and dropping in on Boxing Day, a day which will serve to be in memoriam for those people who were lost in the Asian or Indian Ocean Tsunami back in 2004. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, and we look forward to being here again tomorrow, as we'll be here all this week throughout what we call the silly season. See you next time.